Refurbs and rebrands, werewolves and vampires. You are now tuned in to the Disney Holic Show.
Hello and welcome to the Disney Holic Show. That's Jen Diz.
And that's Mike TV.
Today we catch up on the latest announcements from Disney parks, and then we take a look at how Disney's competition is creating a villains-themed land of their own, plus a fun game of Would You Rather. OMG, so I just got back home from a fun road trip sort of situation in California. I went to Lake Tahoe. California. Lake Tahoe for the first time, like as an adult. And all I could think of the whole time, okay, first it was beautiful, but I just kept thinking of Disney the whole time. Specifically, Grand Californian. I was like, oh, this is what it's based on, like, duh. But I totally got it. And then the whole time I just felt like I was there. And
was it still snowing?
No snow.
Okay.
At this time. So it's like, I guess, the summer season, which I actually want to go back to see what it's like during winter. But I don't care too much for like the snow. I just want to stay inside and do like marshmallows.
It's the best. It's beautiful. And you can stay in a warm cabin or a house or Airbnb or whatever. But it's beautiful. Wow. But we're having a weird year this year, and there's a lot of snow in a lot of places. Like, I'm surprised they didn't have snow in Tahoe, actually.
Yeah, you could see it on like the mountaintops far away, but the ski resorts and everything completely dry. Weather was so good though. It was like 70s, crisp, fresh air. Beautiful. I will say I didn't know about altitude stuff, and I couldn't breathe like half the time.
Oh yeah.
Right? I would walk from one side of the hotel room to the other and I'd be out of breath. Like, what is going on? So I'm glad that Disneyland Grand Californian doesn't have that aspect. And I hate to say it, but I'd rather spend that same money on Grand Californian instead of Tahoe. Whoops.
Yikes. I can't even with that.
Yeah. There wasn't that much to do. It was kind of a sleepy town, at least when we went. But yeah, overall I liked it and just wanted to share that because it was giving me Grand Californian the whole time.
I've been craving Tahoe now because we went to Reno recently, or not even Reno. We went to like some place called Boomtown, which is like close to Reno, and it made me itch for what that should feel like. And I now want to go to Tahoe because it is cool. But I agree, I definitely would rather.
Yeah,
there's some would you rather's in there.
Would you rather? Because it is not cheap. Let me tell you, I didn't realize that it was that expensive in Tahoe. Like everything from souvenirs to food to the hotel rooms. So I'm like, I couldn't help but compare it to what you can get at Disney.
Right.
Yeah. In other news, though, on the Disney side, Disney Parks just announced a new rebrand for Genie Plus that I thought you and I will have a good time talking
announced, about. And I haven't even looked at it yet. So can you explain this to both myself and the listeners?
Yes, fresh off the presses. So basically, they're getting rid of the Genie Plus branding and name. And it's going to be, all gone. After all those years, they're trying to really push it.
I can't
even. And so it's now going to be called, are you ready for it? Lightning Lane Multipass.
So when you have a Lightning Lane or whatever they were calling it, what were they called when it was just under Genie Plus? And you get
it was called a Lightning Lane that you had to buy using the Genie Plus daily subscription.
Yeah, but what was the regular ones that were free that are included with Genie Plus? Do they have a name for those?
There are Lightning Lanes. That's how confusing and silly it is.
See, I can't even get through my own head, and I've used it. But like when they, like, let's say we had one for Indiana Jones and Indiana Jones breaks down. Isn't that called a multipass then? It turns into a multipass that you can use anywhere?
I think what you're referring to, I think, is like the apology one, like the makeup ride. And it
Yeah.
usually says like multi-experience, something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to your point,
I'm already mixing it up though.
there
Yeah.
are it's already so confusing. And before I tell you about all the other ways that they're rebranding it, I think what's most important is understanding what it is now. What is the new experience? The best
Right.
way to say it is 90% similar to Fast Pass Plus before all of this genie nonsense. So, do you remember when we had Fast
Oh,
Pass
is this
Plus?
for Florida only?
It's for both. It'll be for both.
Okay.
But think about past Disney World trips before 2020. We had Fast Pass Plus. There was a window of time where you can book your rides for the days you're going to be there, sometimes up to 60 days in advance, depending on your resort. And then you don't have to wake up at 7 a.m. and do all that stuff day of, and it's all set. I remember during that time it was free, and the fear or the concern from fans was like, what if they just decided to start charging for that access? So it
Surprise,
right,
surprise.
surprise. Instead of them just ripping off the band-aid and just charging us, they took us through this 4-year journey that just brought us right back to Fast Pass Plus, except now you have to pay for the Lightning Lane multipass that gives you the same exact functionality as the old Fast Pass Plus.
So it's like 3 at a time or something?
3 at a time. I think the window is a lot shorter. I want to say it's 1 week is what I read in advance.
Oh, wow.
Um, but what's funny is, the how quickly we forget. So a lot of the fans are so excited. They're like, "Oh wow, we don't have to get up anymore every day in the morning." And I'm like, "We never used to have to." That was just because of Genie Plus, you guys. So yeah, so basically you have Lightning Lane Multipass. To make it more confusing, they are keeping the a la carte system for the rides that are really hard to get on. And right now there's only 2 in Disney World, which is Tron Light Cycle Run and Guardians of the Galaxy. So you still have to pay separately for that. And it's called a Lightning Lane Single Pass. And Disney Parks put out this like PDF file that says, here, we're going to try to make it less confusing. And it's just more confusing. I don't know who's in charge of this stuff. What do you think? What are your
I wish
thoughts?
they would make because you already are paying for the service. I wish they would add Tron and Cosmic Rewind in any rides that they decide to add on in any park to that. And then you could add like an additional one or something for that high dollar amount. But
Yeah.
I get what they're in it for. They're in it for the money. Chapek's on board right now too. So how do you feel about that? Not Chapek. I mean, I
Iger,
said
yeah,
that. That was like a Freudian slip, right?
right.
That was
And it proves that a lot of the stuff that Chapek picked up was already in the works with Bob Iger.
hmm
Um, One thing they are keeping is the Genie app. Okay, still confusing, right? So Genie Plus is no longer gone. I mean, it's no longer a thing, but they're keeping what they originally announced to us at the expo in like 2019, which was just Genie, just a concierge service that gives you recommendations. So all of that part, which was always free, is going to stay intact.
okay.
So
So
confusing.
Genie app is, or the part of the Disneyland app or Disney World app is just being helpful, a helpful tool,
Yeah,
right? And that's free for anybody. But then, so now we're to the universal model where you just pay for the skip the line pass, but it's
kind
not even
of.
as good as that
It's
one.
not as good, right? Yeah, it's really just the old Fast Pass Plus with a price tag.
Yep.
I
Yep.
would still rather pay more like Universal for just walk-ons and give it to less people, like have a small inventory. And I bet you they would make the same amount of money total. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but wow. I don't
Remember
know.
the
I
days
just
when people are like, they would never go down to that level. They would never
right.
stoop down to that level.
Totally. I I just
Silly us.
I'm disappointed as a Disney fan that they think we're that dumb. Like this was just a Trojan horse.
It's obviously working. You just said there's a bunch of people all
So
excited
many,
about it.
yeah, so many people that already forgot how easy it was, what, 4 or 5 years ago.
I feel like I'm just a sucker all the time at this point. Like I started doing the math now that I am still unemployed and very broke. Started doing the math of how much of my money has been going to Disney trips and it's like embarrassing, quite honestly. Like it's actually really embarrassing. And I'm like, oh my God, I could have like had a backup plan if I had just not been going every freaking month to Disneyland. Like, woo, all right. Anyway,
Ain't that the truth?
we're suckers,
Yeah,
but
we're
it does.
suckers, and we still love the Disney experience, so we'll opt
I was
in
gonna
to
say
all the
I would be in a
things.
different place mental health wise, likely, if I did not have Disneyland in my life. So
Yeah,
I'll just
yeah.
pay it off for that therapy.
It's both, as a Disney holic, it's fun to both complain and point out the things, but we're still gonna do it because we love it. It is what it is. So some other news that's pretty exciting for Disneyland was the announcement that Haunted Mansion is coming back open after its lengthy refurb. And it was announced as August, but I know there's some other rumors that you found out. But what I heard was that when it opens back up, it's going to already be dressed and costumed for spooky season with a Nightmare Before Christmas overlay, which is something you and I kind of theorized, I think, earlier this year, late last year, when they started talking about this.
Right.
But what rumors have you heard, and what do you think about it?
Well, first off, people at the very beginning were all saying 2025, like it wasn't going to open at all. And I was like, I don't know what, it's not going to take that long. However, the rumors are kind of holding true on that in a way. So these came from Mice Chat, and they themselves are saying this is just the rumor mill. Like they're very clear about what's the rumor mill, what's not, which I really appreciate.
Love it.
So they're saying that there's word on the street that it may open as early as July, which that would be super
Ooh,
weird because then I feel like they should just wait till August because they can't really open Nightmare in July. That's kind of weird. And then also
yeah,
they'd have to like do a whole bunch of extra work because it dropped off as Nightmare. So it should start back up. So they don't have to refurb twice the inside, right? Um, but by people's estimates, and again, I don't know how they're getting this information, but they're saying that the queue is not going to be done even by August when Disney has announced that
oh,
it's opening. So they're thinking they're going to be using a virtual queue option to get people in the ride still because the inside is ready to go, but the outside is not. So that's like, we're probably going to have some weird entrance or side entrance or whatever to go in directly into the mansion instead of the full queue in front. So
interesting.
regardless if it opens in July or August, it sounds like it's probably going to do that if this is correct, these rumors. And then there's also rumors that there have been some updates on the inside, which I did not know. We all kind of thought maybe, but there's rumor mill is saying that there have been some in the attic scene. And they even said these updates will make you say, I do. And I'm like, yes, please
Ooh.
update that stupid bride over in the corner. Everyone can't, like, no one can stand her. So, like, let's get her
Wait,
updated. She looks
remind
outdated
me
and weird.
what we don't like about it, like the projection face or all of it?
Yeah, it's just,
Oh,
and she's like corny. I don't like anything about her, to be honest. Like, personally, I miss the old attic where it was a creepy old attic, which I love, but like it's kind of cool seeing her story. I like all the little like gifts from all her different husbands. She's cutting their heads off and the extra pearl necklace. Like, fine. Like that's cool. This little story she has, but her own figure in the corner has always just annoyed me. So because
yeah.
she looked outdated when she first came in. That's the thing. Like back then we weren't like, wow, she looks hecka cool. Everyone's like, why is she cross-eyed? Why does she talk like that? Like,
It doesn't really match the rest of the design of the ride either.
right,
There's something
right.
about it. What would you want? So it sounds like the bride or some version of her will be there, but just
Mhm.
updated. Would you
Yeah.
enjoy like a full high-tech animatronic bride?
Probably not. You know me. I don't, I honestly can't think of how they could make it any better. And I don't think they can pull that out now. It's like a living, breathing part of the attic now. It's been there so long that it would feel weird without her. Even if they put like the beating heart bride back in, it might just be a little weird. Like any fans that are of like a younger generation would be like, what the heck? Why would they do that?
Yeah,
Um, So I don't know what the answer is to that. And I don't even know what
interesting.
I would want. But maybe just keep her similar, change her voice. Her voice sounds super cheesy to me. I've never enjoyed it. And then like the effects of her face somehow. I don't know.
Perhaps they will do some combo of revisiting the old version of stuff and something new. And I say that because more of the recent Haunted Mansion refurbs at Disneyland started bringing back things from the old days and from concept art that never even made it, like the cat
Right.
thing, right? All
Yeah.
that. So, all right. I'm optimistic. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll
We'll see what
see. We'll
happens.
see. I mean, no matter what, I don't think they could do it any worse. So I think
True.
it's all up from here.
Dun-dun-dun. Wait, what does she say? Till death do us part? No. What does she say? I do?
Probably. She
I
says
can't
a
remember.
bunch of like corny dad joke lines about like what she goes, "Oh, you said I do, and I say I did," or something like that, and pulls her little axe out. I'm like, oh God. It's just like corny. That's probably not correct, but it's close and it's yeah,
I
not
can
the
picture
jam.
it. I can picture
Yeah.
it.
And it's like kind of okay. Yeah, because like the Haunted Mansion is supposed to be kind of silly and quirky, but like something about it just like doesn't feel right.
Well, we'll find out, I guess, when it opens in
We
July
will.
or August.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but speaking of spooky things, the little park across the way in Orlando next to Disney World, Universal Resort. So they're building their third theme park, and we've talked about this a few times. It's called Epic Universe. Brand new theme park. It's supposed to open next year, and it has a bunch of different immersive lands like Super Nintendo World, How to Train Your Dragon, another Harry Potter area. But one of the lands, or what they're calling portals, I know you and I were really excited about, was what they're calling the Dark Universe Portal, which is all about Universal's classic monsters and a whole themed
Mm-hmm.
land around that. And they just recently posted a video that officially says the title and has some of the, I want to say Imagineers, I don't know what they're called, some of the
Right.
ride
Yeah.
engineers, some of the designers backstage, like talking about
Yeah.
what the land is going to look like and teasing some concept art. But there were just a lot of things that got me really excited that I haven't felt that excited about in a while from Disney. And then I started connecting the dots and thought, okay, we need to talk about this on the podcast because with Disney Villains Land coming soon to Magic Kingdom, what will they do that might be similar to how Universal Studios is doing their Monster Land? So you watched the video just a while ago. What were your initial thoughts watching it?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm very excited about it. I don't want to be that excited about Universal, but I am very excited. It got me excited for the whole park, actually. It looks very much at the caliber of the Harry Potter universe that's currently
Yeah.
in Universal Orlando, and some of it is over in, but it actually like gives me like Diagon Alley vibes, like even more
Yeah.
immersive than Hogwarts, right? It looks beautiful. It looks great. Evidently, the story is that all the Universal monsters have like come together in this town. Like they've already run their wreckage, and now they've come
Yeah.
together and like live in this place called Dartmouth or something like that. I forget what
Uh-huh.
it's called, but it's it looks really cool. And I don't know if you probably remember, but there was a house at one of the Halloween Horror Nights strictly for the Universal Monsters, and I was so
Yeah.
excited about that. So then now we get to have like a living, breathing land all year long with the Universal Monsters. And I think that's really cool. Like not only is it cool in general, but like that's Universal's like foundation, right? With that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So that's super cool that they're giving an entire land. It was almost like Disney giving Mickey and Minnie finally giving them a ride, right? Like
Yeah. It's
now
their
they're giving
own
Universal Monsters a space.
OG intellectual property from 100 plus years already, they said.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, very cool. So we have some of the famous ones like Frankenstein's monster. We have Dracula. They showed Wolfman. They showed a little teaser of some things that they didn't even talk about ride-wise, but in the background you could see like creature from the Black Lagoon, some version of like a Van Helsing, a mummy. Oh, it just looks so cool. And like you said, so immersive. And I want to think in my mind that everyone who's working on this were also Disney Imagineers at one point, and they just kind of switch
Yeah,
contracts whenever there's a job. Because
right.
I don't know how else they could have made it so amazing. This is like Tokyo Disney Sea level quality. And it's the first time that any of these companies are able to build a park from the ground up since these immersive concepts became a thing. So like right now it's always like patchwork. Like you have Galaxy's Edge, and then you have the rest of Hollywood studios. Some is immersive, some is not. Same with Universal. You have like the corners of Harry Potter, but this whole theme park is going to be on that level.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Wow.
gonna be
And they mentioned
crazy.
animatronics. Like that got my ears perking. They said, I don't think they used that word. They said something like high tech, innovative, animated, blah blah. They didn't use the word animatronics, I don't think. But they were very clearly trying to say there will not be that many screens, and we've worked on creating all kinds of new like moving creatures. And there was one that looked like it was running in the concept art, like an animatronic running after the coaster or something. That is so scary, but also
I
so
missed that
so
somehow.
cool. Yeah. I couldn't tell if it was just truly concept art or that if that was what they were implying when they said they took it to the next level.
My
But
God.
yeah. And the for those who have ridden Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, that one is barely any screens. I mean, not Forbidden Journey, Harry Potter or
I was
Hagrid's,
like, no, there's a
right? What
lot
is
of
it
screens in
called?
that one.
Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure. One of those. The Hagrid one is there's not many screens at all, and it's all animatronics, and that really impressed me. Like the Hagrid animatronic and the giant creatures. So I can only imagine what they do with this
Yeah.
one. Ooh. But yeah, so basically this is Universal's Villains Land. And by seeing the video, we're like, okay, there are ways you could get all the villains together to
Right.
coexist and have a
Mm-hmm.
story. So now that we've seen that, let's revisit Villains Land Magic Kingdom that they said is coming soon. What do you want that to be like?
Well, first and foremost, there was so many things in the video that I feel, and I don't want to sound like a Disney snob, but so many things were pulled and plucked right out of Disney that they've already done it. For instance, um, they had a part of the announcement saying that there are going to be monsters roaming around, but then there's also going to be other characters that you can interact with, which is what the promises were for Galaxy's Edge. And we do
Right.
have a couple, right? Or one. Do we only have one? The V girl, what's her
Maybe.
name? I
Oh,
already
with the
forgot her
blue
name.
hair?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think she's the
Although
only one.
Hogwarts came before that and had that too. And they
Did they have
never,
people you can talk to and
yeah,
stuff? I
remember,
don't
and
even
they would
remember
even
that.
help you with the wand, like other wizards. And then every now and then they have the Death Eaters, which they've been bringing back more.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
think they sometimes dipped into Universal sometimes like pulled back on things, but I think they're a little bit more consistent with the promises, I guess, of these like
We'll see.
moving,
I'm not gonna get too excited. But they
living,
had, but
breathing
I'm talking
lands.
about the more like unique for the land only. Like it sounded like they're creating brand new characters, like Death Eaters we've seen in the movies, and then they're gonna have the characters. That's like having Chewbacca
Right.
in Galaxy's Edge, right? But now they're having, I mean, not really because he's not a villain, but you know what I mean. But but this whole like non-movie character that we're familiar with to be in this land, that's sounds to me very much like Galaxy's Edge, but there's some other stuff like they had a like a bippity boppity boutique,
Oh, that was
but you can
cool.
be turned into a monster. Super
Yeah.
smart,
I
but
like
that's
that because
obviously
then
plucked right out of there.
the adults and kids who leave that place are now part of the land as soon as they walk out of that. It looked like
Very cute.
like a cool old school like barber shop style thing where they do the makeup. But what's cool too is this is Universal and their stuff, their whole thing is like movies. So I'm really expecting like the special effects that they put on your face to be really cool. Like I don't want to see just like face painting from a
Yeah, they
carnival.
have whole classes on it there. They better have somebody in
Yeah.
there doing it
Put some
right.
prosthetics on us. Like I would actually go and sit down for that if it was like movie quality.
Oh
And
my
so
God,
we'll
it's not
see.
going to be. It just takes hours. There's no way. Maybe they could have a fun, cute version.
Yeah.
But and the vampire restaurant gave me like Beauty and the Beast vibes. It seems super immersive. I'm very excited about that one. I just watched um Bram Stoker
Ooh,
Stoker's
yeah.
Dracula for the very first time. I thought I had
Really?
seen it.
That's the
I have
one
not.
from the 90s, directed by Francis Ford Coppola with Gary Oldman
Yep.
and the big bun, the big white hair bun.
Yeah, yeah. super good.
It's
Like that's
so
probably my
good.
favorite vampire movie of all time. I just thought I had already seen it, and I, excuse me, now that I've watched it, definitely know I had not watched it yet. Very good. So I'm very excited about this restaurant as well. But it kind of seemed like they had a like a West Wing almost in it too. So like, oh, that sounds so much like Beauty and the Beast. But anyway, my question, does Universal have something similar to the D23 Expo? And can we please go?
Right? Not that I'm aware of. I'm surprised they don't. I think they really like to not say anything and just let the fans speculate, even when it's so obvious. And then they won't officially announce it until like they recently did with this one. But everyone already knew what was coming, so they usually like to wait. So I don't know if they would
Yeah.
ever have one. But what about there's that thing in Vegas that I've always wanted to go to that's just all theme parks.
Hmm.
They might have something there. I'm not sure.
That'd be super fun.
Yeah.
And then speaking of D23, do you know, was was Dark Universe announced before the villains thing was announced?
It
Like who's
wasn't
responding to who? I'm just curious.
um that's a good question. I think because Universal doesn't say anything, it was only speculation that they were building the Dark Universe thing.
Hmm.
And I think the Villains Land though has always been tossed around for like decades. So maybe this is one of those things where they did both have the idea and now it's going to be who can execute it the best.
Yeah, who, yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And it feels like similar, well, not even because that's gonna be ready to go next year, right?
Next
2025.
year it's going to be
So they
open. I'm so
jumped
excited.
right ahead, like leapfrogged Disney anyway.
Yeah. And
Ugh,
the e-ticket sounds the way that again, this is the way that they talked about it. We all know we get excited and then sometimes it doesn't live up to our expectations. But the way they talked about the big e-ticket in the Dark Universe portal is that all the monsters will be there and they're all there's a storyline of why they're all in Dr. Frankenstein's mansion and they're using all kinds of crazy ride technology that they didn't even have at the time of conceiving the ride, so they had to build it. So this reminds me of like when Disney started talking about Rise of the Resistance, and we couldn't even comprehend what they
mm,
meant. So I'm hoping there's like a really really cool like new mechanism or maybe like multi-ride mechanisms like Rise of the Resistance that we'll
right.
see in this huge ride in the Dark Universe thing. Because it looks like on the map that I've seen, it takes up a huge, like massive footprint with a big building behind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited. No, nonetheless, like them leapfrogging Disney, it just means that Disney has to come out bigger and better then. So I'm actually glad they're opening first. So keep it coming, Universal.
Keep it coming. Yeah, competition is always good for the customers and the fans whenever it
Right.
happens. Um, but yeah, so I'm thinking with Villains Land, I originally had said, how do you do villains without the heroes? But maybe there could be some big e-ticket where for whatever story reason, the villains have to get together for XYZ. And I'm
Hmm.
here for that. That'd be cool. If you're watching our podcast on YouTube, in the background, I had put the Mickey's House of Villains, which was a special they did one time where all the villains came together in a cabaret. And I think this was in the early 2000s or maybe 90s. So that's a little glimmer of what it could look like to do that. Um,
For a
but yeah, we'll
cabaret
see.
show.
Not so much the camera. I mean, I would love that actually.
Right. Yeah, me
All
too.
drag queens playing the villains.
Yes.
Amazing. But let's say if you think of the Monster Squad, right? Frankenstein, Dracula, all them. Who do you think is the Disney villain equivalent of the Monster Squad? Let's say you can only pick like 5 or 6 villains to be like representing Disney villaindom.
Well, I think my brain is in old school, like classic mode because of the Universal monsters. So
Yeah.
I would probably go like pre-Renaissance. So like Maleficent, the Evil
Ooh.
Queen, Lady Tremaine. Because we've already seen them too. So like I know that they're around and they're already like Cruella DeVille. Those are all women. Captain Hook. It's kind
Captain
of old
Hook.
school.
Yeah, that's a good
Captain
one. Yeah.
Hook. Ooh. Chernabog.
Chernabog,
He
that's a
could be
good
like the
one.
big villain in the E-ticket or something because he doesn't really talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he could be
He could
like
be like the giant figure that's on the top of the mountain or whatever it
Bald
is.
Mountain,
Yeah.
right?
That you could even see from the outside and maybe like does cool things at night. Ooh,
Ooh, heck yeah.
yeah. I like where you're going with using the classic ones.
Yeah, I
Tried and
mean,
true.
I feel like they could get away with Renaissance at this point as well. And they might even be smarter if they did Renaissance, but I feel like we know them too well. Like they're kind of like I don't know. It feels like it would be cooler to have like the more scarier ones. Like Ursula, for instance. I love Ursula, but she doesn't feel as scary as like Maleficent,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
instance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then the good thing about if they stick with some of the classic ones, they don't have to worry about constantly updating it as new villains come out. They can just dedicate like other things to the rest of the villains, like maybe a show, meet and greets, stuff like
Hmm.
that. Maybe like a restaurant.
You know, I'm actually looking at our background on YouTube right now, and there's this thing that's screaming at me. Or oh, there's another one, like a plague looking one. Who is that? Do you know?
Those are the witches from Hercules that go around the cauldron.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even recognize them.
Yeah,
Okay. And
real
the Big
creepy.
Bad Wolf, that
Big
one's
bad
super
wolf.
old school, so
Yep.
that'd be cool too. Pete.
Got
Ooh,
Pete,
okay. Now we're
Todd
getting
the
like even
snake. Yeah, there's a
cute.
lot. There's
They're
a
too
lot.
cutesy though. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean
Who would
that's a
you
good
pick for your
point.
group?
The in the Universal Studios video, they mentioned a few times that this is gonna be scary. They said family friendly, but also PG-13.
Yep.
And we know how well they do horror nights. So I
Yeah, they don't
wonder,
care.
yeah, like what level are they gonna take
Even
it?
like the mummy ride is
Oh
terrifying,
gosh,
right?
you're
Like
right.
it's
Yeah.
there's already rides in there that are not made for family friendly. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I guess, but like I wouldn't take my little kid on there. Maybe I guess you have to be a certain height, so also usually a certain age that probably is okay,
Right.
but it's scary. It is. It is.
It is. Well, exciting stuff for any theme park fan with all the new stuff. And then we're only going to hear even more cool things coming out of Disney at the expo in a couple months or in a month.
Yes.
Couple months, yeah.
Ooh, like yeah, like a month and a week or something. Oh my gosh. Seems
Yeah.
so close now. Which by the way, quick recap, shout out to Courtney. Give her a huge shout out, Courtney Brutch,
Hey,
because
hey.
there is a whole ordeal with getting our D23 tickets, and they all ended up on her account somehow. I don't even remember
Oh,
how it happened because I bought them. Somehow it got on her account, and she had to work through the D23 transfer system, which was a nightmare because Disney just cannot get it together. The like,
gosh.
and this time you have to buy your tickets together because you have to get seats together.
The
So like, it
seats.
doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not even like, oh, everyone should just buy individual passes. It's not made that way, and it just, oh my god, we finally got it all sorted out. So, also shout out to all of my friends who worked with me on the hassle of that because man, it was super frustrating. So now we all have our tickets and we can book our things, our panels or whatever. So yay.
Good. That's exciting.
Just took like a week to get it figured out.
As usual. It starts with
Hmm.
the green man virtual queue, and then it just
And
keeps
then just
getting.
from there.
Yep. Yep. All right. So speaking of unnecessary frustrations, I thought with all the recent ride refurbs and overlays happening, we could play a really fun game of Would You Rather Unnecessary Ride Refurbs Edition.
Very cute. I love it.
All right, let's play.
Ooh.
All right, so Disneyland Haunted Mansion. Add Eddie Murphy or Danny DeVito.
Oh no. Oh. I'd have to go with Danny DeVito because it was the better of the two movies.
Okay, that's fair.
And he's a little
Now
creepier.
it gets even worse for you. So now that they're adding Danny DeVito to Haunted
Oh
Mansion at
God.
Disneyland, it has to replace something. Would you rather it replace the candelabra hallway scene or the Hatbox Ghost on the roof?
Oh, I guess. Oh no, Danny DeVito, and it would have to replace the whole scene. He can't just be added into it.
Entire scene.
I guess the Hatbox Ghost. I'm gonna get burned for that one,
Oof.
but I don't care.
It
It's the
is like a
truth.
1-for-1 though, right? Like there's not
Yeah,
much
it's
of a
just a
scene.
little dead space for the character versus like an iconic, very cool Pepper's Ghost effect. Like, not getting rid of that.
So you have like this short Danny DeVito probably like warning you about the graveyard. Don't go
Or is that even
there.
Pepper's Ghost? I don't even know if that would be considered Pepper's Ghost because it's not reflecting.
Oh, the illusion from the head to the hat
Yeah,
box.
whatever that
Yeah, I
illusion is
didn't know about
called.
that.
Where
Yeah.
endless hallway.
All right, so there comes a new refurb announcement right here. You heard it first from the Disney Holic Show. Danny DeVito being added to replace the Hatbox Ghost at
And not
Disneyland.
even the character Danny DeVito played, just Danny DeVito.
Just Danny DeVito as himself.
He's there for meet and greets. The Doom
Oh my
Buggies will
gosh.
stop if you request.
I do love Danny DeVito. He's funny.
Yeah, I'd be like, you have to
But
come hop in the Doom Buggy with me for at least one trip.
all right. They're adding a brand new outer space section of Small World. The classic Small World ride is adding an outer space section because that's technically part of the world just right outside, right? So would you rather have a new Pandora scene with Navi or a Guardians of the Galaxy scene with the Guardians characters?
Guardians every day, all day. Like,
Oh, okay.
easy. Easy.
I was thinking the Navi would look cute only because in oh God, where was that tiki bar in Vegas? It's like
Oh
someone
yeah,
made
they have
one,
them, right?
right?
The small world versions. Yeah.
Yep. And I
I
was
was
like,
totally
okay.
picturing it too. I was like, where did I already see where have I seen this
Yeah.
happen already?
And then Tokyo Disney Sea or Tokyo Disneyland's doing Groot Small World in real life, not a
Oh,
joke.
that's right. I
So
forgot
there's
about
that.
that. It's happening.
All right, so just announced Guardians of the Galaxy Outer Space section of Small World is being added to Small World Disneyland. Question is, would you rather receive a 1-year closure of the railroad or 1 year of no fireworks in order to construct this new area?
1 year of no fireworks.
Ooh.
Actually, I'll take that back and not be selfish. I'll put down the railroad. Because, like, that's messed up. That is so. Both of them are very iconic Disneyland. But if you had to take one or the other, for people who don't come all the time, it's going to be the fireworks. They're going to want.
They want to see
Right.
those
So
fireworks.
I'll keep it polite.
Oof. But that was tough having the railroad closed for Galaxy's Edge. And then in Disney World, they closed it for Tron. I love a railroad ride.
Me too.
Yikes.
It's always sad when it's gone.
It is.
And I do ride it pretty much every time I go. So I'm not one of those people who just get sad when it leaves. Like, I literally love the railroad.
It's so good. It's such a good ride. It just gets
It's my
better
people
with
mover because
age
we don't
and
have a
our
people
age.
mover.
Yeah, it's the closest thing we have at Disneyland.
Right.
All right, so let's wander over to Galaxy's Edge and to Rise of the Resistance. So something new is coming, but first you have to choose what is going. So would you rather remove the whole transport scene of the lead up, where you go in and you're in space and all that stuff,
Okay.
or get rid of the prison part where the First Order puts you into that triangular prison and you wait instructions from the Resistance and from Kylo Ren.
Oh man, both of those are so good.
So
Those are probably
good.
my two favorite moments on the entire attraction. I guess I would get rid of the prison room,
Ooh, okay.
which sucks because it's really cool. But the transport is so awesome. And I always love watching people think you're going to go through the other door.
Yeah.
And not only are they blown away that it's the original door they came through, but the big reveal of that big crazy room is just so good. I can't get rid of that.
Yep. It's truly a ride within a ride, and then you're right that the reveal.
The big reveal. It's like
It's very
cinema.
Disney reveal.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So the prison part, which takes place in the big evil ship, I don't know what it's called right now. The prison part is going to be replaced Would you rather it be replaced with a really cool room all about Purgle space whales, but it's all screen based and just holograms? Or
Wait, at screen-based and holograms?
yeah, like
Holograms are cool.
yeah, like Sonic Laser
Okay.
Jam vibes,
All right.
or replace it with a room that is teaching you about the space horses from The Last Jedi that nobody loved, but they use state-of-the-art brand new animatronics for those creatures.
Okay, first of all, did you say Sonic Laser Jam a second ago? Because that
Yeah.
was not holograms. Those are just straight laser line art, like laser line art. So I guess I'm gonna have to go. I do like the Purgle, but I'm always gonna go with a state-of-the-art animatronic over any screen,
Ooh, of the
no
space
matter the
horses.
stupid characters.
I don't even know what they're called, but something like that can make people start to love those creatures because they associate it with the park instead of the
Yeah,
movie.
and they're like super cool, and you get to see them up close or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you heard it here first. Rise of the Resistance is getting a redo of the
I like
prison
this. It's
room.
almost like a choose your own adventure. Would
Choose
you
your own
rather?
adventure. And you get to see the space horses. All right, so we're going to go over to Tomorrowland, and we are reviving Rocket Space Mountain, ROCK-IT, like rock and roll. We're going to get some bands up in the mix. Would you rather have music by Coldplay or U2?
Oh man. I don't even know how to answer that. You know who I immediately thought of for some reason that I think would actually be really fun on a ride like that? Muse. It's so
Oh,
big and like, ugh.
yeah. Operatic.
Yeah, yep. Um, gosh. My heart is gonna hurt you saying either of these, so I'm gonna say Coldplay.
Coldplay. I could see them going well with the like projections and things.
Yeah, it's a little more like modern, which is why I picked it. Like a little, at least not that the bride has to be, but at least it'd be kind of like, I don't know. You
Yeah.
two to me is like
It's very
old dirty laundry at this point.
U2, yeah. Forcing it on our
Sorry if I'm offending
iPods.
anybody. It's just not my jam.
Coldplay is, I don't know, I can't think of the word, but like Sonic, I think is the word. It's they use like every piece of surround sound to make their music. So I could see that working.
Yeah, they have like
Yeah.
a big sound to them for sure. To me, a
Yeah.
bigger sound than YouTube and it's like or YouTube.
YouTube,
YouTube. Oh my gosh,
YouTube,
that's
Bono.
hilarious.
Okay, the good thing for us is just like Guardians of the Galaxy, this revitalization of Rocket Space Mountain has a randomized music track.
Oh,
So
thank
your first
goodness.
option is Coldplay. Now, would you rather have the next song option to be performed by Aerosmith or the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
We got to go with the Red Hot Chili Peppers because then that throws that back to Rocky Mountain.
Ah, there you go. It
That could
was
be a
there
little
too, right? Yeah.
throwback.
I
Yep.
love it. I love it. All right. So far you might hear
Fan service.
Coldplay, you might hear Chili Peppers. Next, would you rather have Rolling Stones or Queen?
Queen.
Queen would be
I would
good.
actually really
Yeah.
get behind that.
It'd be fun, sing along, laugh and
Yeah.
scream. Okay. And then the final would you rather rock and roll bands, No Doubt or Foo Fighters?
Uh, I would love to say no doubt, but I don't think that matches. So I think I'm going to go with Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters. All right. So there it is. Y'all heard it here first. The new playlist, it'll be on random. You'll either get a new
Sorry.
track by Coldplay, Red
My
Hot Chili
apologies.
Peppers, Queen, or Foo Fighters. I don't think I want any of those.
However, this
Uh,
has inspired me. I now kind of want to go ride Space Mountain again. First of all, I usually don't even ride Space Mountain anymore, but I kind of want to ride it and listen to other tracks while I'm on the roller
ooh,
coaster like I used to do.
that could be
It was
fun.
fun.
I was this whole prompt was sparked by me thinking No Doubt would be good. And then I thought,
Oh,
okay, what can I,
really?
yeah, I was like, what else can I throw in here? But then, I wasn't sure if that meant an original song or their existing song, but I could
Mm,
just see like their vibe having fun, like the kind of ska, rock and roll, electronic type of thing.
right, right. Yeah.
Exciting. All
Maybe
right,
just
so
because all
now,
these other bands were listed and they didn't fit any of that
yeah, it
feel
was
for
kind
me.
of the outlier of like classic rock bands.
Right.
Um, okay, now we're going to canoe over to Adventureland, and it looks like Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room is under new management
Oh
again,
no. First of all, how did
all
we
over again.
canoe from Space Mountain to Tiki Room? Did we get a
We
refurb
it was
for
a
Rivers
it
of
was
America?
a
And it goes all the way through the park now.
it's a trackless canoe that is on the surface that rolls in and out. Oh, like those amphibicars
Oh yeah.
at Disney World. All right, they're at Tiki Room, new management, and they're adding two things, two new characters to host the show. First, you
Okay.
get to choose from, would you rather have Scuttle, the animated version from The Little Mermaid in the 90s, or Scuttle, played by Aquafina from the live action version of The Little Mermaid? Which Scuttle would you rather have?
Oh no. I think I'll go with Scuttle from the original animated because he was nicer. I feel like Aquafina would fit the mold of the under new management a little too well, and she'd talk a lot of trash.
Yeah, she'd be
And I don't
like
want that.
Iago, right? Like Iago
Yeah,
was from the...
and she'd be like
Yeah.
obnoxious and rude, and I just don't want her in there right now. I'm gonna stick with the original Scuttle. He was just kind
I
of like
yeah,
clueless, right? He was like nice and just kind of like,
silly.
yeah.
I think that's a good choice because the scuttle that they have at Magic Kingdom's Little Mermaid attraction is really good. Like I sometimes get tricked into thinking somebody's speaking improv from him, and he just talks to you in that pre-show room. So yeah, I like a classic scuttle, but we have to pair scuttle up. So we're gonna have 90s scuttle with, would you rather have Stitch from Lilo and Stitch or Maui from Moana to co-host?
Ugh. I I'm again gonna go with Maui because Stitch is a hot mess.
too too chaotic.
And he's already been there. He's still there, isn't he, in Tokyo? I think he's still there.
Oh,
So
I think
like
you're right. Yeah.
he doesn't need to be there anymore. Another one. Get out of here. Let's give
Yeah.
Maui a chance. Plus,
Maui kind
Moana
of
doesn't
fits
have
too.
any attraction stuff at all. Stitch has had a couple moments
Yeah,
and then
that's
they keep
true.
closing him down. But
Stitch even got to toilet paper the Cinderella
he
castle
did.
at Magic Kingdom.
That little brat. Yeah, no thanks.
All right, so you heard it here first. Tiki Room under new management coming to Disneyland with an animatronic Scuttle from the 90s, co-hosted with Maui, voiced by Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Who is
Pretty
from Hayward? What? Yay
really, I didn't know
area.
that. I honestly didn't know
Yep.
that. Hayward?
Yep.
How
Tom Hanks is
interesting.
from Hayward too. He went to
What?
Chabot College. Did you know
Oh
that?
wait, that sounds familiar now that you say Chabot. I remember the claim to fame in Fremont was Christy Yamaguchi.
Christy Yamaguchi.
Yeah,
Yep.
ice skating legend, Olympian. And then we also had MC Hammer out of Fremont, which is
Hmm.
not something to be that excited about, but still funny. All right, so back to unnecessary attraction refurbs. We are going to revisit Fantasmic. So people don't love the new scene that replaced the end of the dragon after Murphy the dragon burnt down. And so the Imagineers got together and they're launching a brand new finale scene for
God.
Fantasmic. Would you rather have this final battle scene with Mickey be with Supreme Leader Snoke
Oh,
or Kang the Conqueror?
they're both so insignificant in comparison to like
And they will be
Maleficent.
as giant as the dragon was.
Oh man. I'm gonna go with Kang and just because I really cannot stand Snoke. I just saw it was like on already at some point recently, and Snoke was on the screen, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that guy." I was like, "Ew, look at him! It doesn't even look good. Like, and it never did. Like, it's like the Bride in the Haunted Mansion. Like from the get go, didn't look very good. Like,
Yeah, doesn't fit in, looks like bad CG. And then we're kind of fooled to think he was really that big for a while. It was confusing with the
Yeah, yeah.
hologram. And then they ruined it all by just saying he was one of many thrown away clones of Palpatine. So, poor Supreme Leader Snoke. All right, so as part of a new Marvel celebration coming this fall, King the Conqueror will be joining
Oh, I
Fantasmic.
didn't think about that, putting Marvel and Disneyland too. Yeah, yeah.
Ay,
And
ay,
there's so
ay.
many versions of Kang.
So many.
Maybe they could do a cool multiverse crackle scene in the sky or something though. So I'd be down for that.
Oh, put some drones up and do a hologram. I'm stuck
Yeah.
on holograms right now. I don't even know what they are really. Okay.
They're so innovative.
So, all right. Next up, we are going to celebrate the acquisition that Disney made of 20th Century Fox and all of their amazing film and characters and properties. And so corporate synergy is happening, and we are announcing some brand new attraction refurbs coming to Disney based on 20th Century Fox properties, starting with a brand new Animal Kingdom land is being built. Would you rather have it themed on Planets of the Apes or Ice Age?
Oh man.
I'm having too much
Wait,
fun.
this is going where?
Animal Kingdom.
Oh, land in Animal Kingdom. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant an Animal Kingdom land in like Disneyland or something. They're gonna call the land Animal Kingdom like
Oh yeah.
Frontierland or
Animal
something.
Kingdom Park, Disney World, brand
Okay.
new land.
All right. Um, I mean, would it take over the area that already has all the apes in it if it was Planet of the Apes?
I don't know. They haven't revealed the detail, but I don't think
Oh,
it's
okay,
yeah,
okay.
I don't think it's replacing anything. I think this one is going to be a full addition to the park.
I've already forgotten what the other option is.
Ice Age with
Thank you.
Scrat and all
That's
those
how
characters.
forgettable it is. So I'm gonna stick with Planet of the Apes.
That would be so weird, but also I guess I could see that more like Universal or something. But I guess I can kind of see it.
Yeah. Now that I'm
The
thinking about it, Ice Age could be really cute. And they don't really have too much cute in Animal Kingdom, right? It's all like
and they don't have
real
cold,
feeling.
right? Like
What?
there's no cold.
Yeah, you're right. So that could be actually a good one.
I didn't think of that tonight. Yeah, there's no like Antarctic, there's no polar bears there.
Okay, let's go with that.
All
Changing my
right.
answer.
All right. Ice Age.
They
And
could
it's
use
also
some
cartoon.
cute and some cold,
Cute and
especially in
cold.
Florida. Could use some cold anytime. That'd be great.
So you heard it here first. After the South America's lands is completed to replace Dino Land USA, the next project is an Ice Age themed land coming to Animal Kingdom Park.
That's right.
All
We
right. So
need all
now
of our listeners' help to spread these rumors as
spread the
facts.
rumors,
Might as well
get
get in
people
on it like
mad.
everybody else is doing.
Yes, rile people up, stir the pot with these brand new, unnecessary attraction refurbs. Next, we're back at Disneyland Park over at California Adventure. People have been waiting on pins and needles to find out what the next show is going to be in the Hyperion Theater. Would you rather have Rocky Horror Picture Show live musical or Moulin Rouge, the live musical? Both are
Ooh,
20th Century Fox properties owned by Disney now.
I love that. Um, uh, I would like, I guess it seems more, I don't know. This one's a hard one. I feel like Moulin Rouge would be prettier and it's a big theater. So I'm going to go with Moulin Rouge. But, and also I think Rocky Horror Picture Show might be a lot.
Like above PG-13 at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might be a little too much and it wouldn't do too well and they'd probably close it down. But if we got Moulin Rouge, I guess, I mean, it's also about sex workers and stuff too. So like, there's
That's what
no like good
happens.
way
You
around it.
acquired Fox, get what you pay
Yep.
for. Um,
Get what you pay for. I love that.
that one is, I made that one hard on ourselves too, because I think what I like about Rocky Horror is it has such a cool fandom that,
Mm-hmm.
right, you'd see the fans would probably go there to the park just to go in character and do the sing-alongs,
Yeah.
like
And there's
every
a lot of like
showing.
audience participation. That's the first thing I thought of. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that could be really fun.
And there's got to be a crossover between Disney fans and Rocky Horror fans,
Right.
and like cosplayers and all that. But yeah, Moulin Rouge is so fun. You get to use pop songs,
True.
and it's beautiful for that
It is
theater.
beautiful.
Yeah. So I think we established that Moulin Rouge is coming to the Hyperion Theater this winter
Absolutely.
at
This
Disney's
winter,
California Adventure
2024, possibly
2024,
to open even earlier. Who knows?
even earlier. Now, we're also going to bring in a couple 20th Century Fox IP over to Fantasyland and in a dark ride style format, just like we know with the classics like Mr. Toad's, Peter Pan, and all that.
Okay.
So the first dark ride that is joining Fantasyland is going to be, would you rather have Edward Scissorhands or The Shape of Water?
Oh my God, you're killing me. You're killing me with that one.
How cute as dark rides these would be.
Oh, they'd both be so good. But I'm gonna go with Edward Scissorhands, not only because I do love Shape of Water, but Edward Scissorhands will always take the cake for those two. But how cool will the scene be where he's cutting up the ice and it can snow while you're on the ride?
Oh my goodness, that would be
And then
so
they have the
cool.
animatronic, what's her face, like
The Winona
dancing in the
Ryder
snow. Come
character.
on, it's too
Yes.
good.
Oh, and the
Chills.
music. You got Tim Burton and Danny Elfman there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm into it.
I'm into it
I'm
too.
into it. Maybe like
Can we
they could
have
do
it?
something like this at Hollywood Studios. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be super cool.
Because when I was researching this, I didn't realize there are a lot of cool properties that could be neat as
Well, it's funny,
experiences.
right? When you first said it, you're all Fox in 21st or 20, what is it?
20th century.
20th century Fox, and you're all they're amazing. I was like, I guess, like what? And then you're like going with all these big hits. I'm like, oh, okay, just kidding. There
There you
are a lot
go,
of really
right?
good ones I don't
Totally.
even realize. Yep.
All right, so you picked Edward Scissorhands. Now it has to replace something at Disneyland. Would you rather it replace Snow White? What's her new ride's name? Snow White's Kiss?
Enchanted
Enchanted.
Wish.
Would you rather it place Snow White's Enchanted Wish or Pinocchio's Daring Journey? Is it Journey?
Yeah. I guess I'd have to have it replace Pinocchio's. However, that's always been my favorite
It's a good one.
of
And they don't have
Fantasyland.
it at Disney World.
Yep. But
So
the
you would
Snow White
be,
one now is so classic. You can't get rid of Snow White. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like you just can't. She's the first. Gotta keep her in some space. So I guess Pinocchio is gonna have to be on the chopping block. Sorry, buddy.
fair
Oof, no
enough.
pun intended. He's a piece of wood. Ay, ay,
Da-da-da.
ay.
There you
He literally
go.
is the chopping block. Whoop.
And Pinocchio is one of the last few remaining like scary things that have like
Yeah,
scary
that's why I
parts.
like it. It like
Yeah.
scared the hell out of me, even as an adult, a couple times.
Yeah, it's dark. He turns into a jackass donkey thing. You have like this guy whipping the donkeys. It's
Yeah.
dark. All right, and we are at our final announcement for unnecessary attraction refurbs with 20th Century. So
Okay.
this is going to be another dark ride being added to Fantasyland. And it's, would you rather have Mrs. Doubtfire or Napoleon Dynamite?
Wait, this is gonna replace another attraction in Fantasyland?
Another Fantasyland attraction. And
Wait, Napoleon Dynamite?
people are gonna say,
Absolutely not.
what does that have to do with Fantasyland? And we'll never get an answer. That's just
Miss
how
Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire
First of
Dark
all,
Ride.
world's better than Napoleon Dynamite. Also, Robin Williams, come on.
Yeah.
And like it's got like a real big important family story behind it.
Oh, that's a
And
good
Napoleon
point.
Dynamite does not.
Has some
Or it might
iconic
somewhere in there,
scenes
but
too.
yeah.
And so you could easily turn them into quick sets in the Dark Ride.
They're both terrible ideas though.
They're both terrible. Mrs. Doubtfire has to replace either Mr. Toad's Wild Ride or Peter Pan's Flight.
Peter Pan, bye.
Yeah, you
Sorry.
always replace that one real quick, so I had a feeling. So you heard it here
You know, the line
first,
will be real short for that attraction.
real short. Coming next spring to Disneyland, Edward Scissorhands will be joining Fantasyland and replacing Pinocchio, and Mrs. Doubtfire will bring her charming sense of humor and family-friendly fun as a replacement for Peter Pan's flight. Wow. What a cool
Ay, ay,
multiverse
ay.
that is. Now, out
Yeah.
of some of the ones, if you could remember, like which ones do you think would be pretty cool in real life out of all the ones we talked about?
Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, same. Like give that a
Especially
full-on
once you
e-ticket at
mentioned the
this point.
music, I was already picturing that, but I didn't even like
Yeah,
identify that that would be like 90% of the value of the attraction, just the music alone.
so good. The set design lends itself well to this type of stuff. Like you could do the forest perspective with Vincent Price's mansion and the high
Mhm.
above and all. I want it.
Moulin Rouge would be a lot of fun too. Not gonna
Moulin
lie.
Rouge, yeah, would be. The one that seems obvious, all jokes aside, for Hyperion Theater is The Greatest Showman. So that is owned by Fox, now owned by Disney, and Disney has not been shy about using it everywhere. Like they use the
Mm.
songs all the time. They always show it like when they're showing like what you can watch on Disney Plus, and it has a huge fan following. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get even just like a limited run of The Greatest Showman live. That
Hmm.
would be cool. Yeah.
Still surprised they didn't keep Avengers in there longer.
Yeah, I never got to see it. Bring it back, please. Bring it back
Yeah.
when they bring King the Conqueror to Fantasmic. Let's do a
There you go.
whole Marvel celebration.
Oh no, Marvel's taking over Disneyland. Oh wait, that's DCA. That's okay.
Whoops. All right, so today we did some silly, unnecessary ride refurbs. We also talked about what Villains Land can look like now that we have context to their competitor park, Universal's Dark Universe Land. And then we talked about some of the cool news, like the Haunted Mansion opening up, and then some of the kind of mixed reactions to the rebrand of Genie Plus to the Lightning Lane Multipass.
Ay, ay, ay. So many changes, but thank you all for listening, and we hope you enjoyed episode 195 of the Disney Holics Show.
Follow us on social media at the Disneyholics.
And if you'd like to get in touch, send us a DM on Instagram or contact us at thedisneyholics.com.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.